Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some details about the life of Suzanne Foster. She was born in Kirksville, Missouri on May 9, 1951. She was an only child. Her father was an educator and administrator, and eventually the family ended up in Marshall, Missouri, where Suzanne graduated from high school in 1969. She had always had an interest in performing arts, singing and dancing and acting, and in the early 70s, Suzanne toured throughout the United States with a band. In 1977, she met and married Greg Foster. They made their home in Sedalia, Missouri, and had two children, Rhiannon and Lear. In 1980, Suzanne opened Red Hot's dance studio in Sedalia. She ran the studio for 16 years. She choreographed shows for the Sedalia Community Theater, countless dance squads, flag corps, show choirs, drill teams, pom-pom lines, and pageants contestants, as well as elementary, high school, and college productions. Suzanne taught English and theater in Missouri public schools for 14 years. Suzanne was well known in the community, so I knew who she was when we met in January of 1987 in a biology class at State Fair Community College. She had huge 80s hair, and I sat right behind her, struggling to see the teacher around all that hair. We didn't really talk that semester, but in the fall of 1987, we had both transferred to UCM, then CMSU, in Warrensburg. Since we were both English education majors, we had some classes together. I knew Suzanne commuted from Sedalia, as I did, so one day I worked up the nerve to ask her if I could ride to campus with her because I needed to have some work done on my car. She agreed, and as they say, the rest is history. We spent the next 2 years riding together. We had some classes together and ate lunch together every day. Often, on Fridays, we would swing by Hero's Restaurant in Warrensburg for their fabulous onion rings. We would each order our own basket of rings, and the waitress would inevitably remark that it was a big basket, so we would only need one. We would laugh and say, "We are best friends, but we don't share Hero's onion rings." Even though we were together every day, we also spent a lot of time on the phone. A 4-hour conversation was not unusual. Sometimes we would talk for 4 or so hours, decide we needed to get something to eat, and then sit in a restaurant for another 2 or so hours, chattering away. We never ran out of things to discuss. We laughed, we gave each other advice, and a shoulder to cry on. Suzanne was 9 years older than me. Not only was she my best friend, she was the sister I never had, but so desperately needed. She respected my introvert tendencies, but gave me the confidence to step out of my comfort zone. She got me involved in Sedalia Community Theater, where I stage managed 9 shows in a row. We had all sorts of crazy adventures, usually instigated by her, and called ourselves Lucy and Ethel. When I was working on my master's in library science, Suzanne was teaching English and theater at the high school in Sedalia. I arranged to complete my practicum there, so we had opportunities to collaborate between the school library and her classroom. We were together again all day long, and I'm not sure if the high school has ever fully recovered from our hilarious antics. Then came the horrible day when Suzanne was diagnosed with colon cancer. It was devastating, but with her usual positive energy, she vowed to beat it. She bravely fought the battle, and briefly we thought she had won. For 2 years, she was cancer-free. Then it came back with a vengeance, spreading to her liver. On October 18th, 2003, while I was grocery shopping, Suzanne's daughter called and said I better get to the hospital. It wasn't good. I left my cart in the middle of Walmart and drove like a maniac to Sedalia. She was barely conscious when I arrived. The family gave me privacy to say goodbye to my dear friend. I sat there holding her hand and talking about our past adventures. She wiggled her fingers in my grasp to indicate that she was hearing and remembering. Several other friends came and went that night, but I couldn't leave. Greg and her parents allowed me to stay with them in the waiting room outside Suzanne's room. In the very early hours of October 19th, 2003, Suzanne died. Her father told me afterward that he could see the vein on her neck throbbing as the blood pumped through it, and then suddenly it stopped, and there was silence. As devastating as it was for me to lose my best friend, her parents lost their only child. She was only 52 years old. In 2010, I was given the opportunity to establish a scholarship using the royalties earned from the textbook I wrote for my class, LIS 1600 University Library and Research Skills. I knew immediately that it would be named in honor of Suzanne's memory. So the Suzanne Foster Scholarship in Library Science was born. Since 2011, 25 students have benefited from this scholarship. Suzanne would be so proud of me and the work I did to create the scholarship. At the same time, she would be honored that it bears her name. By naming it for Suzanne, I have guaranteed her legacy as an educator, reader, and research advocate is secure. Librarians for generations to come will know her name. I miss Suzanne every day and continue to mark her birthday and the day she died. She was one of a kind, and I am lucky to have had her in my life, even though it wasn't for long enough. She changed me, but I reverted back to an introvert when she died. As C.S. Lewis said, it isn't that my friend died, it's that the part of me that only my friend could bring out will never be brought out again. Thank you for listening to my recollections of my friend. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about what a terrific and amazing person Suzanne was. She touched so many lives, and through the Suzanne Foster Scholarship in Library Science, she will continue to do so. I hope you will consider supporting this incredible scholarship, honor Suzanne, and uplift generations of librarians. Thank you.